What's up, guys? It's Michael Key, your host of Real Conservative Talk, here again with Zach Lopez. Zach, how you doing?
What's going on, everybody? How we doing?
So, Zach, I know you are a Marvel guy or whatever the Marvel. What's the other one?
DC.
DC. What's Superman?
Superman's DC.
Sorry, I know the superheroes. I just don't know which club they belong to. So I guess you could call me
What club they belong to?
Ignorant, maybe. But
Yeah.
DC or Marvel. Okay, well, one of them is starting to fuck shit up, Zach. And
All right.
you said Superman is DC?
Yeah, he's DC.
Okay, so DC is going woke on us. And Superman's son is now a homosexual. If you've seen the news updates, it looks like Superman's son experiments with one of his male friends, which,
Okay.
you know what the best thing they could have done, Zach, if they wanted to appeal to everyone?
Is not do that.
Exactly. Just not
Just
put in a
don't-
fucking relationship.
Don't mess up Superman.
Yeah, like he's gonna whoop ass no matter what, right? That's like the whole point of a superhero is to fight and save the world.
Well, and the other really funny thing, which this is kind of, I don't know, I guess this shows how much of a nerd I am, but DC's kind of falling apart anyways. They're trying to keep up with Marvel, and they can't. And the movies they've made just, I mean, they obviously don't match up to what Marvel does. I mean, it's evident in every aspect of the movie world. And now they're going to do this. They're going to take the one superhero they had that was actually worth anything and make him woke.
Wait,
Oh,
so
Jesus.
so who's DC? Is that Batman's
DC
not
is like
DC, right?
DC's Batman, Superman,
Damn.
Aquaman, Wonder Woman, all that good stuff. Which, don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the new Wonder Woman movies, and I even enjoyed the Aquaman movies. The Batman movies are, yeah, I mean, they're not bad, but again, it's not Marvel. It's very different.
So my favorite one's always been Batman. Again, I just never paid attention to what little club they belong to. Never really cared. I've never been a big comic book person. Just watched the movies or the cartoons.
Sure.
But I think you're right, and I think that this could ruin. It could ruin. I don't know if it's a Superman series, if there is one, whatever show or whatever. If they actually employ this, and it's not because he's gay. Okay, I don't care. So before I get all the hate, what, he can't be gay, blah blah blah. He shouldn't be anything. We shouldn't know. Honestly,
I was about to say he's a superhero, and so I guess they said that this was his son.
I think that's what I read.
I
I have the article up. Let me pull it.
Check the article again real quick, because I know that Superman himself, which first off, he's an alien. That's the first thing. First off, he's an alien. Second off, he's had a relationship with Lois Lane since day one. I mean, that was it's in everything.
Yeah. So Jonathan Kent, the new Superman, is the son of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, sorry. And then apparently he shares an unexpected kiss with his friend Jay. Why did they have to put that in there? I never understood why every movie has to have like that love relationship. I mean, I get it kind of helps the storyline. I think it's I think they do that because it's an easy way of making a storyline when you have a relationship. Right, it buys time in the movie.
Yeah, but even adding in, look at the last Superman. Mm-hmm. Okay, the most recent one, the love. It's not an affair, but the love story between him and Lois Lane is, I mean, it's not a main part of the movie. It's a little piece, a side piece of the movie. So the fact that DC is now wanting to come in, which if I had to guess, they're going to turn this into a TV show, but because that's what everybody's doing nowadays. But even that, if they turn it into a TV show, and they're already throwing this in there, I mean, you're losing the essence of Superman. It's no longer Superman. It's just another TV show.
Well, here's where I started to have a problem with it, okay?
All right.
When you watch Netflix is horrible about this. And I watch Netflix, okay? So I'm not denying Netflix has a lot of good stuff, okay?
Yeah.
But every show now, every single one that I watch, everyone that comes out new has to have a gay relationship in it. It has to. And I've seen series that in the first season all the characters were straight, right? There's one off the top of my head I'm thinking of, but I'm not going to say which one. All the characters were straight. Then the second season comes out. One of the characters had a breakup in the prior season.
Yeah.
And then now they have a gay relationship in the second season. Like, it's just forced down your throat. Okay?
Yeah.
Again, I don't care that someone is gay. But when it's everywhere on the TV, in fact, and they're trying to make it more normal than an actual straight relationship that is biologically built into our bodies, okay? Or like it's more common than that. That's not even right. That's not even correct. Like when I say it's not correct, it's not like there's more straight people than there are gay people.
Yeah,
okay?
Agreed.
So it's theoretically not the common theme in our world, but in every show we got to watch, there's got to be a gay relationship, right? And I just don't like that it's forced down our throat. I don't like the fact that we're supposed to. I don't even know where I want to go with this. It's just Netflix is really bad about it. They're bad about the social justice, the woke things, but in every new Netflix movie or series, it has to have some kind of LGBTQ addition to it.
Yeah. I
don't expect every series to have a white guy in it or a white woman, right? Commonly it does. And just like I don't think every movie should have a black guy, right? If we're making a historical movie about whatever and the people were white in history, why would we change it to be a black guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not historically accurate. But they're trying to go down that road of doing things like that. The new James Bond, they want to make it either a woman or a black guy, right? Like, if they took the actual James Bond character and turned him black, then it literally separates it from all the storyline previously.
Well, see, I don't know if I can agree with that one, because the James Bond character he's simply just a super spy, and that's purely all he is. So that one I could see it changing to a woman or a man.
Well, yeah, with another agent number or another spy, but not the same character. You can't base it off the same character.
Well,
why? Because if it's connected, okay.
So you're saying it like it would continue off the previous movie.
Yes.
It would take the storyline of the previous movie and it would continue off of that.
If you're calling it James Bond 007 with whatever title, okay, you're implying that the person and then the movie starts off and literally the main character is James Bond and Agent 007, right? You are literally inferring that that's the same person.
Not necessarily, not with that one, because it's technically just an employee number. That's all the 007 number really is.
With the same name?
Well, yeah, the name would...
Right, you're confirming it. Like if every agent was 007.
Right.
Right. And they had different names, that's fine.
That's a valid point. Okay, I'll take that. If it's going to be called James Bond or if it's anything James Bond, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But if it's just a 007 movie, that's I can see that happening.
Yeah. And again, yeah, so like if they wrote a new character, Like the new Rocky movie, but it wasn't called Rocky. It was it Apollo or
no, it's called Creed.
Yeah, Creed, right?
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. It's a part of the Rocky series, but about another character, right?
Right.
That's a good movie. Great. I'm fine with that. Okay. And even they're trying to they're remaking these movies and drawing off of another previous storyline, but they're changing the makeup of the movie and what made the movie great. Okay, there are white people that could not play black roles.
Yeah.
Okay, and vice versa. Because I think that part of what makes a movie a good movie or not is little things like that. Because black people offer things that white people can't. Just like white people offer things that black people don't in a movie, right? Different personalities, different experiences, different ways they act. Uh-huh. And I think that those are things that don't need to be changed. I don't know. Maybe I am just one of those people that I'm not a huge proponent of change. Maybe it's my fault. So I'm not saying it's necessarily like a big deal. It's just my opinion.
Well, and I think the thing about the whole Superman ordeal, I think the biggest thing about that is that you can tell that they're trying to push.
That's what it is.
Push that.
It's because the agenda and the reason why they're doing it.
Because Superman is a superhero movie. It's not a sitcom. It's not a drama. It is a superhero.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. And the fact that you're taking Superman and now since he has a son, you're gonna dart off in a different I guess story path just because it's his son, and you just so happen to make the story path him being gay. Why? What is the purpose of including that in the story path?
Yeah.
And I think people would argue, they'd be like, well, now you're giving young gay children somebody to look up to. What do you mean giving somebody they can look up to normal Superman?
But why? Okay, what's good about SpongeBob?
What?
Is you don't know if he's fucking gay, straight.
Right, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because he's funny regardless.
Yeah, and you let the person watching it make their own opinion. Yeah, but keep it out of it. I mean, and there's some movies that you can make with gay relationships. That's fine. And there's some that you make all about relationships, like The Notebook and all those movies, right? Like that's literally like the storyline is based off of love and a relationship,
right?
So it can be included. But when you're taking it from a superhero, you really don't even need that portion in there,
right? Because it's a superhero movie.
They just add that to make it more of a heartfelt.
It allows the person to connect more to it. But even still, that aspect of it, the aspect of whatever the relationship may be, is not a necessary thing for a superhero movie. It is, I mean...
Because I'm watching it for the action anyway.
Right, and especially for Superman. Superman, as I said, Superman's an alien.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He's from a different planet. I don't know. I definitely don't. I don't agree with that one. But so Katie and I, we watched this TV show on Netflix. It's called I think it's called Sex Education or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. So that show,
that's fine.
There's gay relationship in there, and I totally understand the purpose of it.
The only problem with that show to me is they're fucking way too woke. They talk about social justice, everything in that damn thing.
Yeah.
Okay, the last episode I saw, okay, and I don't know if you've seen it. You've been watching this season, right?
Yeah, we watched it.
Okay, so it was a scene where they had to do the sex education class at school, and they split them up, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Right? But then all of a sudden there's this huge upright. Or
are you talking about the girl?
They're two people. They were non-binary.
Yeah.
It's like, well, where do we go? It's like, well, what do you have between your legs?
Yeah.
That's my problem, right?
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. Cause
we're talking about it's sex education. It's not fucking, teach you how to, act as a girl or a guy. It's sex education, learning about
safe sex,
blah, 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 right?
That.
So you got something between your legs. You either got a fucking dick or you got a vagina, and you choose one, right?
No, I'm with you on that one.
And if you're going to change it, then I don't know. I don't like that. It should be whatever you got right now. Okay. Yeah. That's how I feel about that is people are overcomplicating a lot of things. Like it literally is one of probably the most set in stone sciences there are. Okay. You have to have a man, you have to have a woman to make a baby.
Yep. Yes, you do.
Now,
yes, you do. Very simple.
Now, Zach, before we got on here, I did do a Google search on how many men have given birth.
Please tell me it said 0.
Well,
please tell me it. Don't do this to me.
Apparently, it was 0. It was 0, except in Australia, there were 22 men that gave birth last year. Apparently, in Australia, but they're marsupials down there. They're genetically different. They're marsupials in Australia.
What?
So they, I guess, men can give birth.
No. That makes no sense.
I'm just fucking around.
Oh my gosh.
No, I don't. I didn't read the article. This is just the headline of the article. It says data shows 22 Australian men gave birth last year. How can a man get pregnant? ? We know that obviously mammals are just different genetically down under. Maybe there's something there. And to my Aussies, just so you know, I love you guys. Okay, I'm just kidding. Obviously, we know this, so don't take it to heart. But I just saw that article and I figured I would hit on that.
That's
that is kind of funny though. But I think I hate when things are forced on you. Okay, it goes back to what we talked about yesterday about the censorship and you're forcing someone not to talk and express their opinion. They're just going to feel stronger about something. If you're forcing the LGBTQ stuff down people's throat, that's when you're going to cause problems. Okay?
Yeah, I'd agree.
Racism is only bad when you start making little things like stuff like maybe Dave Chappelle says or the John Gruden thing, right? Like saying that someone has big lips and you're making it way worse than what it is.
Yeah.
So the things that are actually racist are like unforgiving compared to that. Instead of focusing on things that are actually racist, it's so it shouldn't be forced. You respect everyone, treat everyone with respect, and if they're gay, then by all means, okay, you have that right. You have, and you do here in the United States. The gay rights thing. What rights do the LGBT community not have? I don't understand that. Maybe I'm naive. You can get married now. The only reason you may think that you are what's the word I'm thinking, discriminated against or oppressed is because you are saying you are, right? And
see, but this goes back to a comment that I made on, I forget which podcast it was, but certain people, and I'm not just talking about the gay community or the woke community, whatever you want to throw out there. I'm talking about anybody. Everybody wants attention nowadays. Mm-hmm. Everybody. It doesn't matter who you are.
Well, Joe Rogan said it. Oppression is a commodity.
Yeah. Because if you're oppressed, somebody out there is going to feel bad for you in some way. Whatever way that is. And at that point in time, you have achieved your mission of getting the attention that you wanted, because now somebody is either feeling bad for you, somebody is talking about you, or whatever it may be, and that is what they're shooting for.
Well, and here's what I think a lot of some of this comes from. Like, let's just say that you have two guys walking down the street holding hands, okay?
Yeah.
And they'll come back and say, well, people just stare at us differently. which is probably true, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it, though, has to do with, like, that's just something you just don't see all the time.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, I don't see that often. So you tend to look at it, right? I mean, not that it's a bad thing or that it's weird or anything like that. It's just if you see anything that is like
out of the ordinary,
yeah,
something that's not regular,
yeah.
See, and again, there with the comments that we just made right there, that again is giving the type of people who crave attention, giving them what they want, because now you're starting to say things that to them they're like, oh well, why am I not normal?
Yes.
Why is what I do not normal? Well, just because it's not normal.
Well, it can be normal. Making it normal is just not paying attention to a lot of this stuff, and it's hard. But like, I don't go around flaunting relationships outside of my house.
Right.
Right. There's people that are gay that you don't even know are gay.
Yep.
Or that you know are gay, but they don't, like you wouldn't think they were outside, right? Like they're just regular people. All right. You can express yourselves. You had the right to express yourself. But I'm sorry if I see a guy walking down the street with freaking high heels on, a damn skinny, short skirt, crop top shirt with, flaming pink hair and a mohawk, with fishnet leggings walking down the street, and it's a man, I'm going to stare because it's just something you don't see all the time.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
If I went and, was wearing a football jersey, that was like an MTSU football jersey when we went and promoted the MTSU football team at Chick-fil-A and stuff when we were in college. People stare at you because, that guy's got a football jersey, a football player.
It's different. It's out of the ordinary.
Yeah, it's just like, it catches your eye.
Right.
But, and there are people that, would go by and be like, you, and use bad language to them and disrespect them, and that's not right.
Well, and you know what? Let me throw this out there. So, it's like it's like if you were to be walking around in public. Let's say you were at the mall, just walking around, hanging out, checking out a couple stores. Just say you're just burning time and you're with your significant other. It'd be like you walking around and every other step, you guys are hugging and kissing and feeling up on each other all the time. Nobody wants to see that.
I stare so if I see a man and a woman freaking making out and holding and all over themselves, I stare at them too.
Right.
I stare at a lot of people. So it's not just gay people. So yes, everything we just said, we needed to put in the fact that I do the same thing when it's a straight couple.
Right. It has nothing to do with the fact that they are gay, that they get stared at. It has to do with the fact that it's out of the ordinary.
That's why Zach's on the show, because he kind of brings the more sensical...
the more logical side of things.
Well, yeah, like what I want to say, but I can't think it to say, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like me out in public. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my wife with my whole heart, and I think she's the most beautiful thing to walk on earth. But you will never catch me out in public, hanging on my wife. Lips all over the place. Touch all that. That is for home.
Yeah.
That is home life. I'll hold her hand out in public. Don't get me wrong. I might. Well,
you can show affection, right? But I'm gonna, if it's something that's like a lot of affection, it's gonna catch people's eyes and they're gonna stare. Right. Whether they say anything or not, or they agree with it, they may say, "Damn, that guy's lucky," whatever.
Right.
But they're still gonna stare. Same thing with a man and a man. Okay, like, so it's not that they're staring because they hate. It's just. They do it. But it doesn't matter if it's a man and a woman, if it's a man and a man, right? I stare at people all the time. I people watch all the time. I fucking love to.
People watching is one of the best activities on this earth.
Yes.
I love people watching. And it's not even to, make fun of people or whatever it is. It's just fun to people watch.
Yes. It should, so don't get me wrong or Zach wrong. I think that, everyone should be accepting of everyone, okay? You treat everyone with respect, like I've said many times, okay? But just don't force things down people's throats.
Right.
I think people would be more accepting of diversity and different people if it just wasn't shoved down their throats, because people don't like being forced.
Right.
All right. But, with that said, going back to the Superman thing, the best thing to do with some of these comics and these superheroes is just leave the relationship out of it. Just leave it out.
Or even if there has to be a relationship, if that for some odd reason is written into the story for a certain piece of the storyline, because said character plays a super important role at some point in the comic, that's fine. But there's no reason to flaunt the fact that said superhero is having a non-straight relationship. There's no reason for it.
And I'll be honest with you, okay, the box office would be through the fucking roof if we had to watch Superman fucking Wonder Woman instead of his son kissing a guy. I'm just saying. Okay? I'm just saying.
Well,
but
you're getting into a whole different conversation there.
But again, we saw the thing with the Superman thing. I figured I'd bring it up. But on other topics, Zach, the coach of Washington State, we went over this yesterday just to throw this in real quickly. He's actually suing the state or the university for firing him.
Good for him.
So we'll see how that works out.
Hopefully he wins that one. That would be a huge win.
We'll see. It's going to be tough. I think he needs to use the fact that they're going to fire these cops in Chicago, because then, if the government comes out and says, well, it's a public safety concern. Well, you're creating a public safety concern in Chicago by getting rid of a third of the police force.
Well, have you seen the stuff with Southwest?
Well, yeah, they went on strike because they didn't want the vaccine.
Right, and they won?
Yeah. So, but, if, like at Washington State, they said the majority of students and faculty were vaccinated, so the remaining people that would go on strike, they would just fire.
Yeah,
it would make a difference.
But then again, isn't the whole point of the vaccine for people who are vaccinated to not have to care about people who are unvaccinated?
Logically speaking, yes.
Right. Trust me. I don't say that because
the government isn't logical, Zach. Okay?
Oh, I know.
The private sector is logical. The government is inefficient. That's why they have bureaucracies.
Yeah.
All right. Well. Now, Joe Biden had a Facebook post today, and it said,
"Oh joy,"
that if you spent $3 on a coffee today, then you have paid more taxes than the largest 55 of the largest companies in the United States.
What?
Yes, a $3 coffee. He's saying that 55 of the largest companies in the United States paid less than $3 in taxes last year.
What?
They don't realize that, like, the largest 55 companies in the United States are all, if not 99%, are publicly traded, which means that all of their financials, all of the moves, literally everything about that company is documented in their 10K on the SEC website. He knows that the regular person isn't going to go look that up. Okay. But people on Wall Street know that this shit ain't true. And it's not. I have said before, Amazon paid like over $1 billion in income taxes last year and the year before. And for the last, since like 2017, that I could go back and find their financials, well over $1 billion in income taxes. All right. The rich pay the majority by a lot of income taxes. Now, I've talked about this report on the White House website, this economic report talking about the taxes, and it is extremely flawed. There's a lot of big problems with it. But one thing they talk about is unrealized gains income. It's the stupidest statement I've heard from the White House so far, and this is the most dangerous one, because they said that their study was contradicting to all the other studies tax-wise outside of the White House's, because they factored in what they call unrealized gain income. Now, unrealized gain income, the only thing that would qualify from that is capital gains that are passed through, but those are realized, actually, so that's not even So that's out. But dividends is the only income that you get from any unrealized gains you have. So dividends are taxed as ordinary income. So it's added onto the income, and you're paying income taxes on that every year. So that means that every study outside of the White House tax study has already factored that same thing in. What they are inferring to, though, is if you inherit money and you have these unrealized gains, or, like Jeff Bezos got stock options, and the owner of Tesla, Elon Musk, got stock options in Tesla, right? And they have appreciated the stock that they have in value, and that's what gives them their net worth. But that's not income. Net worth and income are separated. You can't connect the two, and you can't tax net worth. If the government wants to tax unrealized gains, that's going to be a big problem, and here's why. And I explained this to you, Zach. An unrealized gain is exactly what it sounds like. When you own stock, the value of that stock goes up and down constantly throughout the day. Therefore, the value is it's imaginary. It's all fugazi, like they say in The Wolf of Wall Street, right? It's not real. It's not real until you sell and turn it into cash. Think about it. You have $100. You buy one share of ABC Company. That share goes up to $105. You are seeing an unrealized gain of $5, but in a second, it could easily go back down to $99, right? It is not real until you sell it at $105. That's the only time that you actually can say that, oh yeah, I made $5 on my investment. That is when you pay taxes. You pay capital gains tax when you realize it. If they're going to tax unrealized gains, here's the problem you're going to run into. One, the money that you have is tied up in the stock. That means if you get the stock, let's say you inherit it, and there's 50% of the value of that stock is in capital gains, you have to come up with the tax money to pay on the gains of the asset that you hold, and you have to have the cash already available to pay the taxes. Or you have to sell the asset and realize the gains to get the cash to pay the asset. So what is that? It's going to do one of two things. Either someone is going to have the available cash to pay the taxes on the asset that they're inheriting, okay, to pay those gains.
So let me pause you for a second. So for dummies like me who don't deal with that kind of stuff every day. So let's say my father passes away, which I hope to God doesn't happen for a very long time, but it'll happen one day. Let's say my dad passes away and he passes down, his house and land, hypothetically just to me. It'll be to me and my sister.
Yeah, but let's just say keep it simple.
And let's say that he paid the house off and the house appraised for $400,000.
Yes.
You're telling me that since I'm going to inherit that house from my father, that I will have to pay the difference from what he paid for it way back when, minus. So I'll have to. Let's say he paid $200 for it, and it's now worth $400. I'd have to pay $200 or taxes on $200,000 worth of unrealized gains for that house that I inherited.
Yes,
makes no sense.
Now. And we're gonna ignore. We're not talking about like any of the tax benefits because they'll probably get rid of like if it's a primary residence and you have gains, you can sell it with tax-free gains after 2 years, and all that stuff they have now. They're probably gonna get rid of that anyway. So we're just gonna be under the assumption that it all can be taxed. So yes, they want to go back and tax you at the original cost basis of whoever bought it in your family. Okay, which means that you would now have. Let's say you're making $100,000 a year at your job. And he bought that house for $100,000, paid it off, but now it's at $400,000. Okay, you have $300,000 in capital gains. That's not real. It's tied up in the house.
Right.
All right.
Because I still own the house.
Yes,
and
but
I don't have any of the money.
Yes, but they're going to make you record that inheritance, and now you have just made $300,000 in income because you inherited that house. All right. Plus, you're going to make $100,000 at your job. And you would be taxed at $400,000 of income that year. What they aren't taking into consideration is risk. Because let's say you want to keep that house. Well, now you have to have the cash on the side to be able to pay the taxes on the $300,000 in capital gains, right?
Yeah.
But if you, let's say you had that cash and you pay those taxes, what if the value of the house goes back down, the housing market crashes and it goes back down to, instead of being appraised at $400,000, now it's at $250,000. Okay? Yeah, you just overpaid in taxes. Are they going to fucking give you a tax return?
We all know they're not.
Right? So, because that's what they're not taking into consideration. And same thing goes like with the value of the stock. That's what I was getting at, is that if I inherited this stock at $100, but it was originally bought at $50 by my dad or whoever, okay, I pay the taxes on the $50 in gains, but I haven't sold the stock yet. It's unreal because, you have the potential it could still appreciate.
Right.
Then what if the value of the stock falls 50%? I just paid the government cash for taxes on an asset that is worth less now
than what you are paying taxes on.
And I want to hold the asset so it can appreciate again. Otherwise, you're taking like a double loss. If you sell it, if it gets too low, you're losing money on, because you're realizing the loss now if you sold it, and you had to pay the taxes on it. So it's stupid. And when we start talking about the net worth thing, going back to the companies and them paying taxes, when people say like, Prince William the other day talked about William Shatner going to space and how it was a waste of money. All that money and brain power should be used to help people here on, or not help people, but help the world, like the climate and bullshit like that, right? Instead of finding a new planet to live on. Uh-huh. They think that, first of all, it's up to him what he does with his money.
Right.
Okay. Some of these advances, in my opinion, that they're doing with this space tourism, I think could be very beneficial because there's going to be technology that comes from it that we can use here on Earth. Just like NASA always had. There's stuff that NASA came up with that we use every day here on Earth.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Right? So that's one thing. Plus, people got to build that rocket, and it's, economically, it's benefiting people. But people think like, Jeff Bezos, if he took that money he had, that $200 billion he's worth, and gave it away, he could end world hunger forever. You dumb motherfuckers don't realize that he doesn't have $200 billion in cash sitting around. Again, net worth is not available cash or income. I think Jeff Bezos' pay, like annual pay, Zach, was like $80,000 a year when I looked it up.
Is it really?
Yeah. Now, he does that to get around taxes because he keeps,
right.
And he's got the value. So he can take out loans against the shares. No bank is going to deny him a loan. Right. And he can pay it off, right? His credit is crazy. That's where they utilize that net worth. If they need to buy something, they'll probably just borrow against the assets they have, okay, and pay it back.
Yeah.
But if he really wanted to, let's say he did that. Theoretically, he said, I'm going to end world hunger, and it's going to cost me $50 billion. He would have to liquidate that amount of Amazon stock. What do you think would happen to Amazon stock if Jeff Bezos starts liquidating?
Get down to a price where I can buy it?
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. It would make it more affordable, to say the least. All right? But
it
yes.
Also piss off a lot of people.
Well, yeah, because what people don't understand is, like, regular people in their 401ks and IRAs through mutual funds, right? Or whatever, have money tied up in Amazon. It's not just the rich. Uh-huh. It's regular people. A lot of people have 401ks. A lot of people have 401ks. And they don't understand that when you own a mutual fund inside that 401k, it's invested in the companies like Amazon and Apple and all that. So just doing things that are going to crush the market like that and encourage people to pull money out of the market.
Going to cause a market crash.
If you're putting in tax legislation that is going to incentivize someone to sell now and realize gains or realize losses, you're going to see a mass amount of money flow out of the equity market. If money is pulled out of the market, then the value of the stocks go down. That's why last year during COVID, when they started printing money and handing out stimulus checks to people, and people were sitting at home, they put it in the stock market. What did the stock market do? It recovered in like a month. And like, I think finished like 30% positive last year. Above what it started at.
Damn.
Yes, because there was a massive flow of money. The Fed started doing quantitative easing, and you had this mass influx of cash that the government was handing out to everyday people, and they were putting in the stock market because they knew that, you know, these companies were doubling in price overnight. If you start encouraging people to pull money out, they're going to do that. So the other thing you have to think of is giving the money to the government or investing it in the stock market. Investing in the stock market is going to benefit the economy far more than giving tax money to the government to invest in infrastructure or whatever. Why? Because when you put money in the stock market, like GameStop, okay, you know, the price soars. What are they going to do? They're going to do what's called an equity offering, and they're going to put more shares, like sell more shares at a certain price, and it's how they raise money without taking on debt. Okay, so they raise that money. What do? They reinvest it in the business. They come up with new products to sell, or they, you know, make nicer stores. They innovate to get better, to be more competitive. Competition drives innovation. Okay, so when you start pulling money out of the private sector and giving it to the public sector, this is what the Biden administration doesn't understand, because, again, that report from 2 days ago, Zach, that talked about their Build Back Better plan.
Yeah.
And how they talk about how public investment is the best investment. You know, basically, like, giving money to the government is the best way to do it. It drives everything. It does not fucking drive anything. The government should be there as a regulator, and that's it.
It drives them to more vacations. Come on, man. You don't want to deny old Joe Biden his vacations, do you?
Well, all the presidents take vacations, so I'm not going to hit on that. You know, I won't say, oh, the president is out playing, you know, golf on the weekend while this is going on. I'm not going to do that. All right,
that's fair.
It doesn't matter if it's Trump or Biden, but all I'm going to do is look at the policies and the concepts that they're coming up with that they want to implement, and look at how that's going to impact me and the country.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, them playing golf or taking a vacation, I can't control that. That is what it is. It's not hurting or benefiting the American people at all. What is, though, is policy that they're looking to implement. We have a lot of dumbasses in Congress. I've said this. I will keep saying this. Even when new people get voted in, we have a lot of dumbasses in Congress. So you tell me, what has made more people rich? The stock market and growth in the stock market, or the government?
Growth in the stock market, 1,000%.
Well, maybe. Now that I think about it, government, with all these fucking wars we had, contracting shit out, made a lot of people rich. But not the right people, not the American people. Well, it made Americans rich, like the political Americans rich. Like Dick Cheney and all them, they got rich. But, you know, overall, the stock market, and it's more accessible. Okay.
Yeah.
And so why would public investment be better? It's not. It's not at all. The government doesn't do anything efficient. No government does. So the fact that we have people in office that actually believe it does are stupid. You know what our problem also is with Congress, Zach? Is that they feel like everything always has to be changed. There constantly has to be change. They have to implement something. Like right now, I feel like we have politicians that they want to do shit that hasn't been done in like 100 years or ever, because it's like, oh, we're going to go down in history as the second or the first people to do something like this. And they're scratching their name in the history book, right? Uh-huh. Whereas if they didn't change something, they would just, no one would ever say anything. Some of the best presidents I think we have are the ones that may have kept the status quo.
Yeah.
If it was during a good time. Like if Biden was smart, he would have just not done anything. He would have maintained policies that Trump had enacted and then taken credit for it. 100%.
I agree with you.
If he literally just had to maintain that.
Yeah, but then he couldn't call it Biden's Build Back Better plan.
Well, no, but he in his State of the Union address every year, he could say, "Oh, the economy's growing, blah blah blah," and then all the negative things that happened, he could have sat and blamed Trump, right? Because it would have actually been stuff that Trump implemented.
Yeah.
But now he's trying to blame Trump for things that he overturned, like the border situation. His first day in office, he signed like 40. His first week, he signed like 40-something executive orders. Like 20 of them were overturning Trump legislation, and like 10 of them were overturning legislation for the border. So you can't blame Trump for a border crisis when you changed everything that Trump did. And as soon as you changed it, that's when the border crisis starts. Like, you can literally look on a graph or the numbers, and it literally skyrockets from the day he signed those executive orders. It didn't start, before he got in office with the anticipation of Joe Biden coming in, right? It literally started right after he signed that shit away, and it takes off. But sometimes doing nothing is better than doing something. Not everything needs to be changed. The Electoral College does not need to be changed. The Electoral College is probably the greatest policy, in my opinion, that has been implemented, or concept, that is, because it allows the small person to have representation, like with presidential elections and all that. If not, then we would have fucking LA and New York City every year electing our president, or every 4 years electing our president. And their needs aren't the same as someone that's out in Iowa, or in South Florida, or in Alabama, or in Minnesota, or whatever, right? They all have different needs. They all need representation.
Yeah.
That's why the Electoral College is so great. So when people start saying, "Oh, we need to abolish the Electoral College and have a straight up democracy," we need to abolish your ass for saying something so stupid. Because what? So I live in Tennessee. There's only 7 million people in Tennessee. So we don't get any kind of say. Our vote doesn't matter. There's always more Democrats than there are Republicans. Okay, Trump has lost the popular vote both times, but because of the Electoral College is why he gets in. Each state has a say. They have an equivalent say to what their population is. But that's what makes it fair. You want to talk about having fair elections, that is the start of it. It's not changing that, it's changing these policies. It's, having that sketchy ass mail-in voting shit that happened in this past election.
That was stupid.
Implementing laws right before an election that will benefit you is wrong. Or doing things illegally. The fact that this is the first time. I mean, people, bitch and complained in 2016 saying things were rigged because the whole Russia thing, right? Which turned out to be a falsehood. But this is the first time I can remember, like, people really like, holy shit, something is really seriously wrong with this. I mean, there's still news coming out about them doing some sketchy shit, tearing up ballots or whatever it may be.
Well, there's a video of it too down in Atlanta.
Yeah, but I guess seeing isn't believing, right?
No, nowadays people always say that it was tampered with or it was changed or something like that. Yeah,
but then the second that a video of a cop shooting someone comes out, it wasn't tampered with, or there's not more to the story,
right?
So when we have video of people, throwing away ballots or tearing them up, or if they're freaking on tape saying, "Yeah, I'm burning this shit," they would say, "Oh, no, that's taken out of context." But when we have a guy that was beating the shit out of his wife, or threatened to stab a police officer, or has a gun, right? And they edit the video from the moment that the cop shoots the guy, and saying, "Oh my God, he murdered him."
That's one problem with videos. There's always more to it than what the video can actually show.
Yep.
Or what people will let the video show.
Oh yeah. And there's no way around it, because you have people that are like when something happens with a police officer in an encounter, you have people outside of the encounter that are going to film it. So you're going to have like 40 different videos of it, all starting at different times.
Right. Everybody's a reporter nowadays.
Exactly. And so, social media has had a lot of good contributions. I use social media all the time to promote stuff. I like social media. I think it can be good. I think it has some bad stuff to it too. I think, honestly, people want to bitch about social media. I think social media does more harm or more good than harm.
I don't know if I'd agree with that.
Well,
I think you think that because of the way that you use social media. But if you looked at the masses and the way they use social media, it is one of the most harmful things in society nowadays.
Well, okay, it depends what kind of person you are. Because...
Well, but that's why I said if you look at the masses. I mean, if you walked around and you polled X amount of people as to what they use social media for, they use it to literally follow people, keep up with friends, all that mess. And you can't tell me that with them just using it for that there's no other, bad or, I guess, other issues there in them using social media.
Well, there's a lot of issues with social media when they start censoring people, when they start censoring information. Yeah. When I say, I found a study about this with the vaccine, and all of a sudden it gets taken down, and I'm can't post for a week because I'm being punished. But they censored information that could be helpful to people. Maybe it is something that needs to be relayed. Yeah. But they're censoring that. That's where it's bad.
Yeah.
It can be a good business tool. That's where I guess I'm coming from.
And that's what I mean. I agree with you. I think it could be a good business tool, but the problem is that that's not why it was made, and that is not the reason that the masses use social media.
Well, it was made to connect with your friends.
Originally.
Yeah, which is fine too, because hell, you keep in touch now with people that you normally wouldn't.
Yep.
I've been in Tennessee for a long time. If there wasn't social media, then I probably wouldn't talk to any people that I grew up with down in Florida.
You know where all the negativity started?
Where?
It started when MySpace started using the top friends or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That is where it went wrong.
Yeah, like you're not in the top 5.
Right. Oh my God, I'm not your top 5 friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So Facebook, social media can do a lot of harm. You're right. Unfortunately, it gets a lot of people in trouble. It exposes a lot of people, athletes, politicians. But people are biased when they look at it. They're going to look at a video, and you have 500 different perceptions of the video. So you don't know what's right. Just like with the media, I think it is, in my opinion,
I hate the media.
Well, it is in my opinion that there should be a law that you can write about whatever you want, the freedom of the press, like we have. But it has to be true. Okay? And if you're writing a story about, let's say, an athlete, saying that he did something wrong outside, he got arrested for whatever reason, and they put it out of context, and it comes back that they were wrong, I think that they should have to, on the front page, in that the front page news is all the corrections in that they had from previous stories that they fucked up on. So if you write something that wasn't true, or was out of context, or wasn't correct numerically or whatever, right? The front page is dedicated to all of that in bold, pointing out what the true story is. I think that should be a law. Again, we shouldn't censor what people want to report on, but it needs to be factual. I'm not talking about, like a Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson where it's kind of an opinion show. I'm talking about actual news and, articles that are written and all that. If it is not, if it is something like Tucker Carlson or Hannity, they need to disclose that this is all opinion based. That way, people can look at it and say, okay, I know that it could be true, it may not be true, but it's just what this guy, how he sees it and his opinion on it. Just like this show, right? I say all the time, like, this is just my opinion, this is the way I think about it. But if I'm wrong, then I should have to go back and correct that. Because that would save a lot of people. That would save a lot of their what's the word I'm thinking of? Their reputation. Because there are a lot of people who like have their lives ruined. Because look at the Atlanta bomber. What was that guy's name? The dude that the FBI was saying did the bombing. Richard.
You lost me. I don't know.
You didn't see the... Okay, there's a movie on Netflix about it. But you know the bombing in Atlanta at the Olympic Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, what was his name? Richard... I can't remember his name. But there's a guy, Zach, he was a security guard out here at the Olympic Park that night. Uh-huh. And something was wrong. He saw a bag or something, I can't remember, right? And he starts telling people, get out of here. Like, there's something weird, right? So they start getting people, and they found the bomb, so they start getting people out of there.
Yeah.
And he saved a lot of people. I think one or two people died, but it would have been way more.
Yeah.
The FBI, pins the bombing on this guy.
Really?
Yes, because they couldn't figure out who really did it, so they were just saying, well, because the way he was acting, because he was a little bit socially awkward and stuff, that a guy like him, because he was wearing camouflage and had guns and pictures on social media and all that stuff. So he's a redneck extremist that wanted to bomb the Olympic Park to make himself famous.
But that doesn't...
And he did it and saved all those people because then he could make it look like, oh, he's a hero. Uh-huh. So they were gonna take his ass to jail, and then it turns out that a guy from not the FBI but the ATF did his own investigation and found out that it wasn't him. And they, the guy that really did do it had bombed some abortion clinics as well, and was hiding out. And they ended up finding him eventually. He's in prison now. But they, Richard, damn it, what is his name? But he settled it. So this news reporter, Zach, this woman, had completely defamed this guy. I mean, was talking about how guilty he was and why he was guilty, and just hammered him on it. Yeah. She ended up getting fired over it. The settlement he got was $500,000. He would walk around town during this investigation, Zach, and he got his ass whooped one day coming out of a store because people thought he was guilty.
Oh, I bet.
So it caused him a beating, physical harm. It caused him, never again, it doesn't matter who it is going to think the same about him.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the shit. That's the reason why immediately as updates come out, they need to, on the front page, show... here's where we were wrong, and this wasn't true. I don't see why that couldn't be a law.
I agree with you. I just think it needs to be a law that the news needs to tell the truth, just the truth, not an opinionated view of whatever.
Well, you can have opinion shows because that's like what we're doing. Right,
you can have an opinion show, but I'm talking about the news.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about a show. I'm talking about CNN. Fox.
Well, they're political commentary. It's because they are opinion shows. Like, they're not all the news. They have the news and they do report, but they still are political commentary, and like they'll even say it is based off opinion, but they need to have a disclosure on that. Like maybe in their monologue they say, this is the opinion of Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity. Right. Except now if it is a story they're doing that is reporting on. Like, hey, this happened today. Here's the facts.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and have a disclosure of that. And with some things, so, like when there's a shooting or a bombing, Zach, obviously they're reporting on it, and then things change, right? So, and I think for the most part, they do a good job on, okay, here's what we know now. Okay, turns out we were wrong. This is how it is now. And then obviously updates come along the line. But let's say the case of Donald Trump, CNN has yet to ever come out and talk about how wrong they were with Joe Rogan, with the ivermectin stuff. Like, he literally proved that they lied.
Right.
and basically had the own CNN health guy say it, Sanjay Gupta, like hammered him on it, and they still have yet to come out and say we lied, it wasn't true. That is where CNN should have to come out, because they defamed Joe Rogan and tried to hurt his reputation. Okay, and they should have to, by law, come out and say we are sorry. This is, what actually happened. He didn't take a horse dewormer. He took the ivermectin that was made for humans. Right? Like, I don't see what the big deal is on that. Again, I'm not trying to silence anyone, because I talk my mind and all that. So I'm all 100% for it. But if you're going to report on true events, it needs to be
the truth.
The truth. And if it's not the truth and it's how you perceive it, then you need to just say that, like, in my opinion, or this is how I perceive it, or, this is what could happen, or whatever, right? But to sit there and just, talk shit and not worry about the material that you're putting up on TV
that everybody watches.
Yeah. Then that's wrong, because you're making something out of nothing, or you're making nothing out of something. Vice versa. It goes both ways, where they downplay it, and they all do this. Fox does it, CNN does it, they all do it. So, that's kind of my 2 cents on that. I think that's kind of all I got for today. We're hitting that hour mark. Remember to go and give us a review, and if you want to support the podcast, you can become a patron. Go on to Podbeam. You can click the links. We're trying to raise $500 to reinvest into the podcast for equipment and just make it a better listening experience for you guys. And we will talk to you tomorrow.